Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm Susan, your intuitive, and this is your tarot and astrology reading for the month of July and Cancer season. So a couple months out until your season, and we'll get right into your reading. Regardless if it comes through in the reading, I do want to emphasize the nervous system with you right now. Mars is in your sign, and like a little while ago I was like, hair, like spiritually hair is, and in certain cultures hair is an extension of the nervous system. And if you're someone who doesn't emphasize the hair, or normally does and hasn't been lately, and you find yourself with idle time, or you're not wanting to do the regular tasks, is maybe to care for your hair a little bit more. Maybe like play with it, brush it, give it some good nourishment. I don't know why, but it's like play with your hair, and I don't want that to come off like any type of way, Virgo. It's just like play with your hair. Maybe like that's what you need. Play with your hair, Virgo. It's your nervous system. Or just like honor the touch to the body and how that brings safety. So if there's ways that you can practice, like putting your hand on your leg to find yourself, it also can help you find yourself in the present moment more when you put your hand on your own body. Just for example. Okay, first card out is King of Pentacles. So money on your mind naturally. No, I'm kidding. Money's on your mind, but also it's like your sense of self, your sense of security. This is, at this time, the theme is like we're all going through these endings and beginnings at this time, and it's because of all the transitions with the planets and the energy in the place in the world today. I mean, the World card came out, so it's appropriate. And this is about where you stand in your world, where you stand in your security and yourself, and what had to end in order for you to get where you are. You may be looking at yourself of where you are now and really taking a look at parts of your life, especially as of the past year, where you have come to an end, where you are maturing, where you are growing, where you have grown, where you may have picked up certain conditioning and programming about money and security or insecurity in childhood, and how you have transformed that, certain parts of it. Maybe this has been the whole point for you, regardless if it physically materialized, manifested as money. It's like, what is your sense of self, sense of place in the world? And I was just thinking about this right before, Virgo rising. We're in your 11th house. So Cancer shows up in your 11th house of environment, good fortune, community, and you may notice how secure you feel, and that's a different look than comfortable. Comfortable is you're comfortable in your patterns, and what's the word? Secure is you feel so secure in yourself and your position that even if something were to happen, you are secure in your skills that you've acquired. You're secure with yourself and who you've been and who you are becoming, especially in the masculine ways. Now, for some of you, this could also have shown up in your relationship, where you are maybe regulating or healing, paying attention to the masculine role that you play, that energy that brings like the yang and the manifesting, and 8 of Wands face up. How you'll notice that is because of what is coming to you and how quick it's coming to you. So for some of you, it could be about your reputation. You may be receiving a lot of compliments that come to a raise, or you start making more money and you're like at the same place doing what you're doing, but all of a sudden like there's more money flowing or more tips where you are. Or if you're working for yourself, there's more people wanting to know who you are. People, word of mouth starts to happen. Or if it's online, whatever it is, you're reaching others through people, through who you're in direct contact with. For others of you, it's like if you're single, opportunities for dating. that could also connect you to, you never know, right? I'm not saying like that's the only reason to go there, and like not saying that that's what you look for in a person. I'm not saying to like manipulate your way there, not that you would, but I'm just saying a lot is starting to move, and it moves quicker at certain times. And I think this is like the ride that you kind of get on sometimes, where Mars is also in your sign, where you like find this flow, and you're in this flow, and it feels like it's smooth and it's fast, and it's like this, when you're a kid and like you just never want this night to end or this feeling to end, and you just like flow, and then you have moments where you're not in that, and you notice like they're not always equal in length. And it's possible that you're starting to lean towards that more, and how you can get back there more, and you're noticing that it's not so much about the money that you're making, although wonderful, or the people that you're meeting, although very, has a lot of good taste, good sense of self, style, or hygiene, the way that people approach you, how you interact, like you're liking the conversations, whatever that is, but you're just noticing like who you are and how you feel and how important that is. And that's what perhaps has been missing from your life, or missing from your perspective of what security, worth, value means to you in terms of the masculine, and what you bring, and what you not just bring, but actually like actively work towards in bringing to your life around you. In this month, you may receive a lot of good fortune in these areas, especially if there has been like perhaps a lot of trials and tribulations, so to speak, right? I just need a sip. I feel like the Six of Wands is already like the card. So the card at the bottom of the deck, it's been there for a while, is the Six from a few shuffles. Deep breaths, Virgo. Deep breaths. Good things, good things. So expanding your life for more good things, more positive things. If you're a Virgo who teeters on what I just talked about, and a part of that is speaking about the better things. Yes, it's great to have criticism. It's great to learn to complain. Sometimes that's how you get what you want. But now there's like a shift in your, like how you want to talk to people. You notice where that keeps you stuck in your head. And now you need to, the way that you're addressing yourself, and you notice how other people, you're noticing dynamics between people and others, and people who are really kind and compassionate and mean what they say, because that's security, as opposed to people who are willing to tell you what you want to hear, or can sense that you need some kind of instant gratification, not so much validation for you feeling like insecure in your mind or the way that you're moving about things. And this is only revealing to you what's contracting, where you are, what you're learning to sift through, what's revealing to you about where you haven't fully engaged with perhaps communicating in the ways in which that you now feel secure. So now you're traversing in where that gets kind of caught up in your mind, or where that keeps you from feeling highly capable as you already are. Where does that go missing and or get lost in translation? It's when your irregulation, I'm just like rhyming. I know you think that is annoying, but also funny. Also. I'm just gonna keep this right here. You are able to just use your words in a way where it's like moving through you. This is the throat, this is digestion, where you don't feel guilty, you don't feel like anything's stuck. You're just letting yourself move through the process of clearing your throat, clearing anything that's been on your heart, on your mind, and it just hasn't come together through the throat, which allows you to have a deeper sense of trust with yourself, this deeper sense of freedom. And it's not only freedom from physical issues, things that carry weight, dynamics in your life. This is about this freedom in your mind that actually allows for this breakdown. Whatever's crumbling allows for a lot of power when you gather whatever has crumbled, when you realize why it had to crumble. Whether it be your reputation or your perception of yourself, that's exposing to you why it is that you gave, or where you gave from. Because like a very quintessential thing for Virgos, and it's just an example, and I'll keep picking up the cards as we talk because there's a lot of cards here, is about Mars is of course about communication and action, but this is about your action. And in this example is like when you're over giving, or when you've given so much information and you know things and you think like that this is for you, maybe not so much, or maybe this is for someone else and not so much for you, and now you're being exposed to really this heightened version of needing to take your own medicine and needing to take your own advice, because your advice is freeing and what you have to say is important. And if you don't respect that, and you don't respect yourself first in that, then you're now being broken through to that illusion that it's not. Granted, it did perhaps control a certain area of your life, or how you chose to approach certain dynamics or situations. Sorry about the light. But you realize that it was protecting you from the freedom, from feeling more, from exposing yourself to more enjoyment. And really this is like breaking down anything that has been stopping you from creating a life full of generosity that's purely coming from that pure intention. Generosity from pure intention. In Virgo risings, you have had Mars in and out of your 11th and 12th house for quite some time. You've exposed a lot of light to your subconscious, to sorrow, to healing, to self-sabotage, and had to confront a lot of that, and now are digesting any guilt that you feel, perhaps even shame. You might even have had migraines or sore throats or things go on where it caused you to believe in yourself even more, which caused you to ask yourself like where you're giving from and how much you actually have to give, and how much you need to allow yourself to feel the enjoyment like a child. Could be what children even bring to you. Now, for those of you who have someone in your life, it could be a Taurus or a Virgo, they may be bringing commitment to your life and exposure to, even they could be a mirror, or they're being, because you are Virgo, so another Virgo, or you could be exposing to a Taurus and vice versa, about where your reality is expanding and how that affects what you believe in your mind to be true and capable of. And the reason why it's important to voice certain things is so you learn that not everything in your head is true. And I know you know that, but that's something that I've encountered, Virgo sun, moon, and rising, need that extra brain repetition. Venus is also in Taurus. That would be going further. Yeah, so in your 8th house. The way that you think, your philosophy, astrology, all the good stuff. So being exposed to the truth of your voice and letting go of the whatever prison you got yourself into your mind with charm, or this version of yourself, or this portrayal, right? That's a lot of 10th house stuff, which is very Gemini, and Uranus is about to go into Gemini, and we'll continue to talk about that more. And I'm going to take us out to a bigger zoom. anything that you're personally experiencing through this process, whether it is an ego, because this could also really be an ego death for a lot of you, where you're now matching up to that reality, that real reality of where you're at in life. And the beauty of this exposure, even though, again, it's like taking your own medicine, which isn't always easy, but because so much is coming your way and you have to choose what you're going to be responsible to, this ego death is helping you and revealing to you and allowing you to see any shame, guilt, fear that you've been holding on to that's been stopping you to experience the enjoyment of your life, which can ultimately heal your heart and your mind and allow you to speak up and communicate and take action in a way where every step is perfect, even when you fuck up, because you have to know what that looks like. You have to know what it looks like to make the mistake or do the thing or expose yourself to this change in role, because what this is releasing you from is this identity that you no longer need to be attached to. So whatever is coming through, it's big. So whatever's coming through next can meet you. And it only can meet you in between that space. It can't be crowded, right? You have to be able to receive and be open and release enough where it's almost like an emptiness. And I think for you, that could have meant many different things at one point, whether it be depression or grief, not really saying how you feel and adapting or tuning. And now you can, and it's opening you up to bigger ideas and a bigger idea for yourself, knowing that you're highly capable. And truthfully, this was just perhaps attached to confidence, partially for some of you. A lot of arcana's out, but it's a lot of guidance. So it's like, that's this beauty and the security of the masculine that came out first, is like the security in there gives you trust to actually be guided. And it's interesting because I've just been reminded of like this dynamic where someone could be in this is relationship specific, but you could relate this to work too, is like when someone is more anxious in the relationship or in a way has a lot more needs, which can actually be quite controlling to an extent, or they're always, we see this with a lot of dynamics with men and women. So the woman is like in control, doing a lot, not allowing, and it looks like a lack of trust, or someone who's just been overproductive for so long. And I've seen this in a lot of places. This is not like uncommon. And what they really need, and especially if they're nagging or they're always complaining and like, nothing seems to be ever good enough. This happens with men too, of course, right? So this is the imbalance of the masculine and feminine inside of someone. What they're really craving, and I'm using the man and woman as an example, is for the man to stand in their masculinity and just say enough's enough and take more control. Say, this is a safe space for emotions, but what you're doing right now is more than just I need my needs met. You're actually craving me to stand my ground. What you're actually craving is a safe masculine person to stand their ground and be like, say you're spiraling or the other person's spiraling, and you're just like, it's gonna be fine. They keep going, it's gonna be fine. It's a building of trust. What they're really asking for is that person to say, enough. Enough. I'm here. It's safe. We're in this together. And I've seen that, and I can see that where that's a break of the ego in relationship, in a way where over productivity was masked as anxious, but you're avoiding the actual situation. And what you're asking for subconsciously is for someone else to mirror back to you that there's security here. That this is a secure place to feel, express, but no longer I'm going to take this energy on. The yang holding the place so the yin can form. It's very Cancer season, and you get that dynamic, so I hope that was helpful. And it's allowing you to break free. Wherever that dynamic could show up in your life, it's allowing you to break free. From whatever is too controlling over you, whether it be a person or a dynamic that stemmed from a particular person in your life, and it's been just trapped in your head, and it's been needed to be like detoxing through the heart, but only now do you have the words and the insight to put to it. And that's through a nervous system regulation. That's through allowing yourself to digest any guilt, any shame, anywhere that you've been holding on to what is not yours, and how that opens up a whole new way of living for you, where you may have thought you wanted certain material things, and of course, like, they'll come to you, I'm sure. But what you really find is that this ability to enjoy your life in a new way is a gift. To experience, you know that meme where like you're experiencing the universe, like wake up call. You're the universe experiencing itself. Well, you are consciousness experiencing itself through you, through this body, through this aura. And your unique energy and perspective is needed, necessary, and can really be turned on through your confidence. Because truthfully, this wreath and this wreath are the same. So as you close this chapter and open the new one, you just feel a confidence that it's not wavering. That's security. To walk down this road, we're going to talk about that in the next part, to walk down this road of transformation and through into the light of your own creation. Okay, Virgo. We'll stop there. Make sure you play with your hair, as have I. And all information to work with me one-on-one is below. You can find my website, scheduling link. There is payment options, as well as the Patreon link, which is where you'll find this reading and the extended if you'd like to get into it deeper. There's a lot of arcana, so there's a lot of metaphysics, somatic stuff to get into, and we're gonna pull a few, and I might even do a reshuffle because there are a lot of cards out here. So you can take a look at all of that below if you're interested. And your birthday's coming up, so I'll see you next month, Virgo.